Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Crypto Kings. My name is Matt, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about exactly what is going on with Shiba Inu. So if you guys are new, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for daily SHIB vids, and let's get right into this, folks. So if you guys have not seen exactly what SHIB is doing here on the day, essentially this is pretty bad. And again, I do not like to be the perpetuator of FUD, but unfortunately, this is not looking like a hot day. We have a couple of outlooks here, couple bullish, couple bearish. We'll get into them all. So when it comes down to it, guys, what we saw here was very much a very long, extended, rounded top. And what we could tell is that when we start this on the 27th and really go up until now, you guys can see that is essentially what is going on here. Now, the problem with this is that in the future, this indicator typically is negative. This typically shows that there will be some bearish activity. Now, there are a couple of things that could be a saving grace in this instance that I would like to get into. So, obviously, we have that rounded top as the entire equation, but we do have a potential for a sort of historical line of support. So, a line of support that is striking to me, and especially, again, as we look at the entire graph here, folks, a line of support that is striking to me is really the 44, 45-ish line. Now, you guys can see in multiple instances here, again, on the 26th and 27th, this looked to be a line of support back here. It looked to be a line of support right here at the end of the 27th as well on this very long candle. And of course, it looked to be a support twice today. So the lowest we went to was 44, 45-ish, and that seems to be about as low as SHIB wants to go. At least that's about as low as it wants to go right now. Now, there is, of course, the option for the chance of, a very bullish comeback if there is a circumstance in which we are able to break past some of these key lines of resistance. So we have our support in place. Now, what are the key lines of resistance? Well, the lines of resistance I like to look at are, of course, on the Fibonacci retracement. And when we take a look at this, you guys can see it is going to chart out exactly what is going on. So we have the high and the low of the most recent run. So our high here is at 73, and our low here is at 43. So what does this mean? Well, essentially, we've watched it come tumbling down 30 points, and that is obviously very bad. But what the 23.6% line here is showing is what looks to be a new line of resistance. So this line here does equate to around 50, and it looks as if in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, 7 times, it actually challenged 50. It did not succeed. And of course, right now, we are headed back down. Now, the question is, will these new candles end up bouncing off of 45 once again, or will they end up heading even lower? That is, of course, a concern that I think is extremely valid, but when it comes down to it, this 50 line could prove very pivotal in getting, of course, that price up, getting that market cap up, and working our way back to the 60s and 70s. When it comes down to what we were doing on the day, of course, guys, you all can see we are at number 11 here on the list, which is still quite upsetting. We were much higher in terms of market cap a little while ago. Of course, right now at $26 billion, which is still so much more than we were just a couple of months ago. So for some perspective, if you bought back then, I know a lot of people here did, if you guys bought back then, you're still doing all right. I definitely do believe that this market cap is worth, sort of respecting, and the fact that, when you look 3 months ago, it still was not even remotely close to where it is. It is expected to have some kind of pullback like this when you see such extreme volatile growth like we saw a few days ago. Now, you guys can see the volume is up a good deal, which is not necessarily a good thing in this instance, because that is a lot of selling off, and you guys can see that is happening, of course, at the $10 billion amount. So definitely a good deal of sell volume there, unfortunately. And we have that circulating supply issue, which I talked about in my last video. So if you guys want to check that out, check it out on the channel. And there is a lot to be said about that circulating supply, because it is indeed a problem. Now, when we take a look at some other indicators here that are always worth looking at, the RSI, of course, is one of my favorite, and you guys can see we are headed down to 18 at one point here, which is terrible. That is, extremely, extremely what you would call oversold, meaning that right down here at around 43, 42-ish, that is extremely oversold, and it does manage to snap back, which is, of course, good, but the fact of the matter is this snapback could very well lead to more overselling, leading to more FUD. So when you have something that is that dramatically oversold, you unfortunately do kind of enter FUD territory, which is obviously not very good. Another indicator I like to look at, of course, is the moving average cross, which you guys can see here. And essentially, it is really, really simple to read. Every time the red crosses the green, it is bullish, and every time the green crosses the red, it is bearish. So you guys can see the green is still above the red. It is still holding above the red. Now, if these two were to converge in a sense, that would definitely be, a little bit of a better sign. So that is definitely worth looking at. When it comes down to it, guys, I think a lot of the issue here is just the fact that there are a lot of whales who do have a lot of control over this price. There are a lot of people out there who have an awful lot of SHIB, and in a very easy instance can create a great deal of FUD. And that whale who moved that $2.4 billion worth of SHIB a couple of days ago definitely did, sort of alter the current state of the market by essentially creating a lot of concern as to whether or not he would be planning on selling. And even so, planning on selling some of it, would not be particularly tragic, but if he sold all of it, that could definitely have a strong impact on the market, because you guys can see, of course, the market cap right now is $26 billion. That guy, adjusting for the current price, probably right now just moved around 1.7, 1.8-ish billion dollars when adjusting for the current market cap. So, he definitely does have a good deal of this. It's hard to say whether or not he plans on selling it all at once. I don't think that'll be the wisest idea, but it is still conceivably possible. All around, guys, on the day, we're looking at a pretty lukewarm, pretty neutral day. So the fact that SHIB is having this sort of red run kind of gives the idea that SHIB moves inversely with Bitcoin as opposed to moving together with Bitcoin like it used to, because really when you look at the way Bitcoin is doing, when Bitcoin is having a really bad day for some reason, it seems that SHIB wants to run and have a good day, and vice versa. So it is definitely worth considering that Shiba Inu is following inversely with Bitcoin, as a lot of other cryptos out there do. Chainlink is a notorious one that tends to move in a different direction as Bitcoin. There are a lot of other ones out there that do that as well, but when it comes down to it, SHIB needs to, in some way, in my opinion, retake some key lines of support. It doesn't really matter what the line of support is, as long as it is something on the Fibonacci retracement here that could be quantified. And again, of course, we have the 55 line, which, it definitely does look like it just fell through. We have, the 58 line here, which it looks like it had a retest and then fell through again. So there are a lot of options here. The difficult part is really going to be getting back to the 78% line here, which is right at 67-ish, and that looks to be really where a lot of people wanted to go. And the problem here, of course, is that the 60 line right here is essentially what so many people had their hopes on for the remainder of the SHIB run, sort of lasting as a very pivotal line of support. I think a lot of people out there had their hopes set on this, and the problem is it just, even after having been tested 4 different times, does not seem to be able to support, the weight of, unfortunately, a lot of these bearish movements. So with that being said, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel, folks, for more daily SHIB vids. Make sure to check out my Discord, guys. A really nice community, a lot of great people over there. Top of the link down below in the description. I'd really appreciate it. With that being said, everybody, my name is Matt. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to drop a like, sub if you're new, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.